Today's review unit was sent to me by Tech Diversity. Tech Diversity is the official importer of Keychron and Ajazz products in BD and few others also. But that doesn't mean they don't have anything except Ajazz or Keychron products. They have wide range of peripheral collections from keyboard, mouse and so on. Today's Ajazz Diced Fruit Switches are also available to them, ranging from BDT 1300 to 2000. So grab yours now, and now onto the video. So, Ajazz Diced Fruit Switches. They're the mid-range switch from Ajazz, priced around $15 to $20 or 1500 to 2000 taka range, making each switch cost around 27 to 30 cents or taka per piece. And as we can see in the box, they are the collaboration products with Huano, resulting in more qualityful switches. The unboxing of the switches are pretty fun. Opening the box, we find the switches are coated in a mimicking to be like some kind of dried fruit can, and some box have extra one piece of switch added outside the jar, so you can have an idea about the switch before purchasing. Then opening the jar is pretty fun. Here we can see opening the lid. There is a pull tab, which is after opening up, we finally find the switches. Each of these jar comes with 45 switches or 35 switches for the blueberry variant. And that's pretty much to the unboxing. Now let's discuss about the switches. Here we have 5 types of Ajazz switches, starting with the Doyu Orange Tactile Switch. They are the standard switches having resemblance to the Echo and Gateron collaboration based orange switches and a decent medium clacky tactile. They are a medium heavy switch with around 50 grams of force and has a travel distance of around 3 mm. There are also 3-pin switches making them compatible with any kind of board, and also they come pre-lubed according to the box. Then there's the banana switch. They are another decent 3-pin switch with clacky sound profile and is a very responsive switch. The total actuation force is around 40 mm and it helps to have it a snappy performance. The medium tactility also means it is very satisfying while typing, and the actuation force of this switch is around 40 grams. And here's the pitch switch, which also has an identical spec as banana, with the difference of it being a linear switch only. This is also a light linear switch with around 40 grams of actuation force and is pretty smooth due to being pre-lubed. And then here's the most charming switch among all. Ajazz Kiwi Switch. The green color transparent housing with a glitter mix switch gives it a very eye-catchy look. But this switch doesn't only impress by the looks, it also shines with its performance. This is a heavy tactile with around 60 grams of force and around 3 mm of travel distance, and as usual it's pre-lubed, hence a smoother experience while typing. Lastly, here's the most premium switch, Ajazz Blueberry, and they also cost the highest. It is the only 5-pin switch here with the box stem. This switch is built to compete with the latest switches. This is the lightest switch among all the switches from Ajazz, with less than 40 grams of actuation force to actuate and has pre-travel around 2 mm. And all the switches are of the clacky sound profile but in a soothing tone while typing. Now to the fun part. Let's disassemble the switches. Since all the switches from Ajazz are of cherry housing, it can be easily opened through the cherry housing switch opener, which I am showing right now on the screen. All of the switches from Ajazz are made out of polycarbonate bottom housing, making it have a decent yet soothing clack while bottoming out. All the bottom housing are of 3-pin switch except the blueberry one, which we have seen before is a 5-pin, and even though they are advertised as pre-loop switch, I failed to see any sort of loop code on the bottom housing. Next, the spring. The spring length varies for each of the switches. The orange switch has the least length among the springs of 14 mm, which also helps it to have a snappy return. The banana switch and the strawberry switch have the 18 mm spring, which is quite normal for a switch, whereas the kiwi and the blueberry switch has double stage 22 mm spring, having the most stable performance among all the switches. Then to the stem. The stem is made out of POM material among all the switches. Here POM is the ideal choice for the stem since it has better rigidity and less prone to break. Due to it being made out of POM will also result in the switch becoming much more smoother over the course of the usage, which is also termed as breaking the switch. And lastly, the top housing is made out of PC material again. And this, again being a PC housing, will help in getting a good clacky sound incorporating with the return force that the stem applies on the housing. And all the top housing has Ajazz logo branded over them. Overall, all the switches perform pretty amazingly, and each of them being worthy for the price. I personally couldn't find any reason to dislike them except the blueberry one, as it requires very little force to activate and causing me often to mistype. In the end, I would recommend this switch to anyone in this budget. And lastly, here's the stability test. Having an identical housing as the other budget switches, a lot of the value of the switch depends on its performance, which also factors on the stability of the board. Here we can see the normal stem of Ajazz switches has very low wobble to them and also firmly seated on the socket, thus removing any kind of sound issue and having a decent sound experience. But the box stem of Blueberry disappoints me. Being a box stem, it has more wobble than any other box stems in this budget, which might cause chattering of the switches.